The Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
And welcome into the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. Tyler Head, Chris Clark, Colin Taylor, hanging out past 10 o'clock. You never do this, Colin.
No, it feels weird to be back in the studio.
Yeah, so
10:01, 10:02.
Wes is out at camp today, correct?
He is out at football camp today. That's correct.
So, yes, Colin is helping us out here today with our special guest, Myles Stute, another transfer for the South Carolina men's basketball team. One everybody around here should be pretty familiar with coming in from Vanderbilt. Myles, welcome to Columbia and welcome to 107.5 The Game.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm excited to be here.
This is a little odd. Colin, we have not done like an actual radio show together.
I think this is quite literally the first time you and I have been in the studio together, and it's not like me passing on the way out while you're coming in.
Yeah, we've worked together for years and first radio show together, so kind of weird. But Myles, excited to have you, man. Appreciate you being here. I'm going to lead with this. I'm going to put you on the spot a little bit. I was telling you before we came in, Colin is at like all the basketball games, right? Because that's what he does. He does every single sport we have basically at Carolina.
Okay.
I mainly do football recruiting, but I did go to 2 games last year, guys, in person.
Gotcha.
One of them was the Carolina-Bama game.
Okay.
Overtime. Carolina lost. Really good game. Thriller, like you said. The other one was the Vandy-Carolina game.
Yes, sir.
And I'm not just saying this because you're here. I walked away going, man, Myles Stute, like, that's a really good player.
Good ball.
He's a really good player. But I remember early in the game, the crowd was getting into it a little bit.
For sure. It was chippy.
And you went over, nobody can see me because I'm on the radio. You did a little crying face to the crowd. What do you think about that? Because now you're going to be playing in front of those same fans.
Yeah, I definitely remember that moment. I think I had made a pass or something, and somebody got fouled, and it was just a reaction kind of thing.
No, hold on. I got to correct you.
Yes, sir.
Actually, nobody got fouled.
Yeah.
Because congratulations, y'all were the first team in basketball history to not foul the other team in the first half. Do y'all remember that?
Yes,
Isn't that a correct stat?
Yeah, I think they...
Not the first team in history, but y'all literally had no fouls in the first half.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It is. It's not true. Well, there's no way y'all didn't foul somebody.
Right.
But it was funny.
No fouls were called.
No fouls were called.
But it was funny. We were sitting there. I didn't even notice it until probably the under 4, like the final media timeout. Yeah. And I'm looking, I was like, I don't think South Carolina shot a free throw.
Mm-mm.
And normally that's not unusual, but then I'm like, well, hold on, Vanderbilt hasn't been called for a foul yet.
Right,
so,
0 fouls
yeah,
is crazy.
Yeah, and especially in the SEC where you get a ton of, it can get
touch
physical.
Fouls.
But it can get physical in the SEC too, especially at the rim. So really interesting. But I do remember when, Myles, to Chris's point, like I remember when news started to break that you were coming on campus for a visit and you were on and doing all that. And I think he texted me and he goes, do they have a shot with this guy? And I was like, I think they do. Like, and just talking to people. And he's like, man, that'd be awesome. Because I think I could pull the text up. And he's like, yeah, he can ball. And so,
no doubt.
You left an impression on a lot of South Carolina fans, probably in a good way, coming off of those 2. I know the one at Colonial Life was a bigger game, but yeah, those 2.
Yeah.
The first impression was like, all right, look at this guy. Like he's doing some crying faces to the crowd. I kind of like that. I'm down with it.
And then you're watching, and
yeah.
So, from your perspective, having played here as an opponent, what is Colonial Life Arena like as far as atmosphere goes?
Well, I mean, I'm an older cat, so I've played a couple games at Colonial Life over the course of my collegiate career, and every time I come out here, it's just I feel the energy. There's always, for whatever reason, a pretty good crowd that shows up whenever we played when I was at Vanderbilt at Colonial Life. And so just kind of seeing the passion that the fans have for the team, for the program, just coming up and showing up no matter like what day it is, what the context is, how the team is doing. They are showing up, cheering them on, giving them great energy, providing a live environment for the team to play in is definitely intriguing, and it was really, really appealing to me, being able to kind of draw back to those memories when I was going through my transfer portal process, for sure.
One of the reasons that we wanted to get you on here, Myles, was I was talking to Colin about some players that we could get here on the Garnet Trust Hour, and it's like, got to get Myles, like, because he remembered the interview that y'all did, the conversation y'all had, and
yes, sir.
Basically kind of said, like, paraphrasing, like, he'll tell it like it is.
Yeah,
So walk us through the process of deciding to enter the transfer portal and just why at this stage in your career you felt like that was the best move for you.
No doubt. Yeah, I think there was a bunch of different factors that went into my decision to leave Vanderbilt and enter the transfer portal. I think probably the biggest reason was really just for pure basketball fit. At Vanderbilt, I was being utilized more so as like a stretch four, power forward type of guy, pick and pop kind of player. And my thing is, I'll do whatever the coach asks me to do. Very, very coachable. Any role that I'm given on the team, I'll accept that and try to embrace it to the best of my ability. But looking back on my career, and thinking about the levels that I want to take myself to and how I want to play at the next level in the NBA, I just thought that how I was being utilized at Vanderbilt wasn't my true game. It wasn't my true self. I wasn't really allowing people to see who I really am as a basketball player. And I wasn't being utilized in terms of my full skill set. And so in saying that, I decided that I wanted to find somewhere new, see some fresh faces and kind of get some new impressions from different people and some different feedback from different people. See, just what I can really do and how far I can push myself in terms of, like I said, taking it to that next level. So.
And last year was obviously Coach Parris's first season at South Carolina, first season coaching in the SEC, and it was rough for a lot of the season. You had the highlights of the Kentucky game, nearly beating Alabama in overtime. What did you like about South Carolina and Coach Parris that made you want to come here?
There's a lot of things, actually, about Coach Parris, about the team, about South Carolina. Namely, one of those things was, like you said, that they had a lot of highlight moments in terms of certain games that were really, really close that could have gone South Carolina's way. But in saying that, you can see the fight in the team. You can see how the guys come together and really embrace each other and take every game, every practice seriously. Even just so far, first couple weeks in the summer workouts, we've been pushing each other every single day, beating up on each other, really pushing each other and trying to embrace that healthy competition to get each other better and get each other to where we need to be when the SEC play comes around. But definitely last year, just seeing that fight, that dog that the team had within itself, and the ability to stay together even in those harsh moments and close, tough losses, I thought it really spoke to the culture that Coach Parris is trying to embody and really create here at South Carolina within the program. And I've definitely felt that culture so far, for sure.
And Myles, I know you kind of talked about showcasing your skill set a little bit more here. Vanderbilt's very sets heavy. You're going to run a half-court offense and do that. Coach Parris is a little bit more free-flowing, letting guys do what they want to do offensively speaking. That is, what do you feel like you can showcase more in this South Carolina system versus what you're able to show at Vanderbilt? Not dissing any of the two, that's how they do it, but just what do you feel like you can do differently here that showcases a little bit more of your skill set?
Right. No, for sure. Like I said, I thought at Vanderbilt I was kind of utilized more as a pick and pop floor spacer, just catch and shoot kind of guy. But coming to South Carolina, I really just want to show that I can put it on the deck efficiently, make reads efficiently as well, not be a super turnover heavy guy, not be out there making and one crazy dribble moves, but just making the right play, making simple plays, playing basketball the right way. Within the flow of the game, like you said, Coach Parris really allows his guys to have that basketball freedom and make some mistakes here and there and play through, their decisions that they make on the court. And that was really, really appealing to me as I weighed my options throughout the transfer portal process. I thought that this basketball fit that I've found here at South Carolina in terms of my skill set and what I'm going to be able to show with just being able to attack closeouts and, like I said, make the right pass, make the right play, whether it's for myself or for my teammates, is something that I'm really going to be able to showcase all year long, as well as my defensive ability. I thought at Vanderbilt I was kind of forced to, guard bigger guys and be more in the paint in terms of a post defender, being played at the power forward position. But now I'm going to be able to get out on the perimeter and, guard ball screens and really get into guys and be more of a hound. That's something that I really, really can't wait to show this year and something that I've been really working really hard on this offseason. So I'm excited.
I know that you ran into somebody from the station out here in the hall, and they were asking about your position, and you said guard.
Yes, sir.
And you said, but 2, 3, or 4, right?
Yes,
So, I know you can do all those things, but in talking with Coach Parris and going through the course of workouts, is it really going to be kind of maybe an even split between all those things, like anything from stretch 4 to a 2 guard?
That's something that I really like about this team is that we're versatile. I feel like we have a lot of different guys that can play different positions efficiently and actually effectively, not just saying that just to say that. So that's really, really intriguing to me. I'm excited to see how Coach Paris utilizes not only myself, but my teammates as well, guys like B.J. Mack, guys like Stephen Clark, Taylon Cooper, guys that we can really just play a positionless basketball style just off of the fact of how skilled we are as a team overall. So that's really, really intriguing. But I know in terms for me and the role that I'm coming into this year, I'm definitely being asked to be more of a guard, 2-3 kind of guy. I'm sure I'll play some minutes at the 4 as well, just depending on matchups and whatnot and how Coach Paris wants to attack certain teams. But definitely looking forward to having the ball in my hands a bit more, being able to make some reads and like I said, just hound guys on defense, just be a dog all year.
How exciting is that you talk about being a little bit of a guard, but Michi's played some point too, Jacoby's played some point, you got Talon coming in as well. Just how exciting is that to have at one point, maybe 2, 3, sometimes even 4 ball handlers on the floor, and you can really space and pace things a little bit. It's amazing because that's how a lot of SEC teams play. You look at some of the better teams in our league, guys like Alabama, teams like even Tennessee at times, they'll play 4 guards with a big and just go at it, not really call any sets, but have a free-flowing offense where they read and react off of each other and just play off of each other. And I think that's some of exactly what we can do here this upcoming year. Like you said, guys like Michi and Talon and Jacoby, all being able to play on and off the ball really efficiently. It's really, really exciting what we got brewing here. Like I said, even just throughout the past week and a half, our open gyms have been really, really competitive. Our practices have been really competitive. There's been a lot of, just encouragement, uplift, and just pushing each other, embracing the grind day in and day out. So I really love what we're building here right now.
All right, we'll keep our conversation going with Myles Stute here on the Garnet Trust Hour coming up next on 107.5 The Game.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
And welcome back into the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. Tyler, Chris, and Colin along with you. Today's special guest, Myles Stute, new transfer for South Carolina men's basketball. And want to go back to your time at Vanderbilt a little bit here. You had the opportunity to play for Jerry Stackhouse. And, there are a lot of great coaches around the country. Very few of them have had the length of career that he's had, especially in the NBA. What was it like playing for Coach Stackhouse over there at Vanderbilt?
Man, it was incredible. Definitely have the utmost respect for Coach Stackhouse and just all the things that I was taught by Coach Stackhouse during my tenure at Vanderbilt. Is priceless. I can't even put a name on the number of things that I learned during my time at Vanderbilt and under Coach Stackhouse. And just because of my time there, I've become much better basketball player and overall person because of that. So I'm very, very thankful to have played under a coach that, played in the league for almost 20 years and is a Hall of Famer and all those good things. Nothing much more to say. I'm definitely just very, very, very thankful that I even had the opportunity to play under Coach Stackhouse. And Myles, I'll kind of talk a little bit about that Vanderbilt. You were part of a team that, I want to say your first year there, you go, 9-16, and then it's a slow build from there, 19 and 17 the year after, and then obviously last year could have made the argument that was an NCAA tournament team, especially at the end of the year. How much can that experience of being part of a build and being part of something like that help you at a South Carolina team that's trying to pretty much do the same thing? Mm-hmm. How much can that help, that experience coming to South Carolina? It helps tremendously because, just exactly what it looks like, the day in and day out grind, the things it takes to get to that level and not only just be in those close games, but to win those close games, consistently as well. The getting up shots after after coming back from a away game at 2 a.m., getting in the cold tub after practice, like just doing all those little things and encouraging the guys on your team to do the same things as well and take the game just as seriously as you are, attributes to winning those games, like you said, and overhauling that program. Because it took a lot just to be a piece in that program from my freshman year to my junior year. Like you said, just the turnaround from, I believe it was, winning 9 games my freshman year to this past year winning around 20-plus-ish. I can't exactly remember the number, but 22. Yeah. 22, thank you. Yes, sir. And making the NIT and having an argument could have said, hey, we belong in the NCAA tournament and we feel like we should be there. After winning our last, I want to say like 8 out of 10 games, 11 out of 13 games. It was some crazy number like that. But it speaks to the guys in that locker room, and it speaks to the knowledge and lessons that we bestowed upon each other. I can see those same lessons being, given to one another and taken from one another in this South Carolina Gamecock locker room this year. So I'm really, really excited, to be a part of this turnaround. I know it is Coach Perry's second year, but I think it's definitely going to be one of his better years when it's all said and done, just off the fact of this team and the makeup that we have. I'm really, really excited.
So, like Colin said, you've seen, the climb. You've seen what it takes to improve not only individually but as a team. And then you've seen some really good players that you played with at Vandy. You've seen some really, really good players in this league that you played against for a few years now.
For sure.
I know you haven't gone through an actual season. You haven't played a game with these guys yet, but how close do you think this team is, based on what you've seen so far, what you know, to being even more competitive and being along the lines of some of these other teams that you've played against and with?
I wouldn't even say we're close. I think we're there.
Yeah. I
think it's time for us to start saying that we've arrived. I think it's time for us to gain that mindset that they got to come and play us too. We're not scared of anybody. We don't fear any team, not only in the conference but in the country. I think that's going to be the makeup of our team in terms of our mindset and how we go about things. Just because of the group of guys that we have, the confidence that we have in each other, even already, the chemistry starting to click and we're starting to get through some of those just little humps that you get to when you have new guys coming in and you have a new team, especially with, the transfers that we've brought in, the number of just new guys coming into the program. We got something special brewing. I'll say that. I'm really, really excited. I hope you guys can hear in my voice, Gamecock Nation.
We've got some questions on the Insiders Forum on GamecockCentral.com, and if you have a question for Myles and want to send it in to the Firehouse Subs text line, we'll certainly see if we can get to it. That's 803-404-6100. Text in your questions for Myles Stute. But this question from the Insiders Forum: what part of Myles' game does he feel he has the biggest need for improvement going into this season? I know you mentioned, probably the biggest difference we're going to see, right, is just stylistically, how you're going to be able to play. But if you had to pick out just an actual skill or two that you want to improve the most, what would you pick?
That's a good one. I say definitely my playmaking ability. I kind of spoke on making the right play earlier in the radio show, whether that's for myself or making the right pass to my teammates. Drawing three and kick, getting 2 feet in the paint and finding the shooter on the outside, stuff like that. That's something that I've really, really been harping on this offseason so far. But not only that, I really am working on my defense as well. Stuff like my lateral foot speed, my agility, just having that hunger and desire to not allow my opponent to score or get into scoring position. Is something that I've really, really been focusing on over the past 3-4 months, watching a ton of film watching great defenders, guys like Jaylen Brown, Kawhi Leonard, just really embodying that, because I want when the team comes in this year, I want Coach Perry to look at me and say, I want you to get their best guy. I want you to guard the guy that's supposed to go give us 30. I want you to put him in a bottle. So that's something that I really want to take on this career, take on this year, take on that challenge to just be a dog, not only this year, but for the rest of my career as well. Just to be a key defender on a really good team.
Kind of sticking with that, but Coach Paris has talked to the media at least about being a defensive guy, wants to have a good offense, obviously, but a lot gets made about this portal class, especially about the shooting. You obviously coming in as a shooter, BJ Mack, put up really good numbers there. Talon, really good three-point shooter. What can we expect from you personally, but also from this entire team, not just the transfers, the jump up defensively after last season?
No, for sure. I think with this group, the offense is going to take care of itself. We're going to find enough points to beat teams and be in games with teams that are really, really good at the top of the collegiate level. So now it's all about finding ways to get stops, close out possessions. I know rebounding was one of the tougher parts about last year's team, and it was really, a weaker area in last year's team. And I think we have guys this year that really embody that physical mindset to go hit, not just watching the shot go up and hoping that we get the ball, but going after it, going to hit guys, being physical down low, making sure everything's accounted for. in terms of finishing out possessions and not allowing teams to get, easy second chance points on us off a putback or off a, rebound and kick for three, stuff like that. It's definitely those little details that are going to separate this year's team from last year's team, is just embodying that mindset and understanding that we can't take any plays off.
You, B.J. Mack, Talon Cooper, Stephen Clark, the guys that Colin mentioned in this 4-man transfer class.
Yes, sir.
One thing y'all are bringing is a lot of experience, right? You're not bringing in a class of 4 freshman transfers. So
right.
Seeing what you saw playing against South Carolina last year and what, your own scouting reports, and then how important and how critical is that to add that much experience to a team like that obviously had some good pieces already? Yeah,
no, for sure. I think it is really, really important, with last year being Coach Perry's first year, last year being some of the guys in the program, it being their first year in the program as well. Now that they've gotten over that piece, and we add in, like you said, 4 new veteran guys in this transfer portal class, I think it's a really, really good mix, along with the freshmen that we're bringing in as well, into this program. I'm really, really high on everybody so far. Just like I said, over our past 2 weeks, being in the day in and day out grind of practice and workouts and everything like that, seeing what these guys can really do and kind of testing them and pushing them to their limits a little bit as they're doing the same thing to me. It just allows us to really, really build that true chemistry. And it really helps because that experience that this portal class is bringing in with me, Steve, Talon, and BJ, we played a lot of minutes at the collegiate level already. I know guys like Steve and BJ. I think even Talon, I think this is all their last years, if I'm not mistaken, in terms of eligibility. So just like this is it for us. I mean, this is what we came here to do is put South Carolina basketball on the map. We're gonna just come in and compete every single day. Like, I can't stress how important that is, just to compete and go against each other and embody that grind, that understanding of, we just can't take any plays off, any days off. It's hard to overhaul a program and really get it to where it's supposed to be without doing that. You got to just embody the grind fully. You have to immerse yourself in it. You got to become obsessed with it is what Coach Paris has been talking to us about it and really trying to help us understand is that this year is going to be a grind. There's going to be many, many uncomfortable parts about this year. But in those uncomfortable parts, are we leaning on one another? Are we holding each other accountable? Are we having those uncomfortable conversations that successful programs and successful teams need in order to win those close games and then pull out of tough moments? It's definitely building something special here.
And I did the math before we go to break. 430 total games between the 4 of you, 299 starts.
Yeah.
11,373 collegiate minutes between the 4 of you. So quite a bit of experience.
Experience.
Yeah.
Right.
That is a lot.
Absolutely. We'll have more with Myles Stute coming up next. But first, want to remind everyone about the craft beer passport on 1075game.com. Click on the Sweet Deals tab. You can purchase yourself the craft beer passport, a $285 value, all yours, for just $99. Good at over 15 locations around the Midlands, including Steel Hands Brewing, where we were out yesterday. Again, go to 1075game.com and click on the Sweet Deals tab for the craft beer passport. More of the conversation with Myles Stute continuing on the Garnet Trust Hour next on 1075 The Game.
What we're talking about on 1075 The Game. Sponsored by Love Chevrolet.
Welcome back into the Garnet Trust Hour. Tyler, Colin, Chris, along with you. Today's guest, Myles Stute from the Gamecock men's basketball team. And Myles, we love to learn more about our interviewees off the court a little bit. And looking over your bio and profile, you come from a very athletic family. Says your grandfather played some football at Minnesota. You had an aunt that played basketball at Miami, Ohio. Your mom was a bowler at Florida A&M?
Yes, sir. Yeah, nah. Not my whole family, but definitely my immediate family is very, very sports oriented. Growing up, I always had a ball in my hands, whether it was a football, basketball, golf ball, tennis ball, just always being around and being a curious kid. My parents made sure that curiosity was fulfilled with something that was productive. So definitely being around my little brothers as well and my older brother, we kind of just were able to come together and really, really push each other.
Now, are you a bowler yourself?
Yeah, it gets competitive. It definitely does.
Now, does mom still have it? Is she still the best out of everyone?
I got to give it to her. That's mom, so I can't say I'm better than her, but she definitely still got it. I'll say that.
What's her best score?
300s.
She's
perfect.
She can do it.
Yeah, like consistently. Like there's been streaks of games where she'll go get 280, 285, 300.
Oof.
I'm just like, yo.
I've never even approached that. What about you? What's your?
I'm good for 220, 275 in that range.
That's really good.
Pretty
You
good.
know what I'm saying? So
Colin, what's your best bowling score?
Oof. I'm in like the 100s.
Yeah,
like,
I'm in.
probably
If I
150.
get if I got to 150, I'm like party time. That'd be great.
yeah,
Better at skee ball than bowling.
okay.
I'm a good skee ball player. You golf? Like you said, golf ball. Do you golf?
Yes, sir. I do still consistently golf. My grandfather actually toured the country at a professional level.
That's pretty cool.
And played in some events as well. So coming up, he made sure that I was out of the driving range every now and then and on the greens for sure.
There you go.
Do you have a favorite golfer that you follow?
I got a couple. Yeah, I still like Tiger for sure. I watch Jordan Spieth as well. Those are probably my top two guys. Phil Mickelson as well. Got to give a shout out to him too for sure. Yeah.
Shout out the lefties.
Yeah.
Shout out to the lefties. Yeah. Now, do you hit righty though? Right?
I hit righty,
Because
though.
some
Yeah.
guys will change it up. Colin,
I'm a lefty.
you're a lefty golfer
I'm lefty in everything.
and everything.
The only thing,
thought you switched it up.
the only thing I don't do, oddly enough, I'm right-footed and I shoot a bat. Like I'm not terrible at basketball, but I shoot a basketball right-handed. Which
I
is
shoot
probably,
a basketball left-handed, and that's
Which
the
is
only thing
probably
I do.
why I suck at
Which is
basketball.
Well,
because I'm
we
left-handed
have
and I
somebody
shoot it
here that
right-handed.
could give you some tips.
Yeah.
I know we need. So in here, we've got actually in the next break, we're going to get Myles to do the 2-tier toss, the cornhole,
Okay.
and then we'll see if
There's
he can
also
hit that golf ball.
About to say, there's also like a
Now,
wedge in there somewhere.
Yeah.
what score did Karina have on the cornhole last week? He's got to beat that.
I don't know. Did Karina do well? That
Okay,
was Wes.
Wes was in
Wes
here.
was in
yeah,
here.
I think we forgot to write her score down, but we're trying to get everybody that
Run
comes
the
through here
contest.
to throw it and see what score they can get.
Well, I definitely want to see Myles with the putter
For sure. Let's
or
do it.
whatever that is, wedge. You might have to putt with the wedge. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then we'll do the 2-tier toss and kind
There
of
you go.
we'll kind of see how that goes. A lot of the football guys, a lot of the baseball guys, Colin, they're big golfers. So maybe we need to connect you with some of those
Definitely.
guys you can go out and play.
No, definitely.
Have you met any of the other athletes so far from some other teams?
A couple football guys. I say a couple baseball guys as well. Definitely just been positive vibes and warm greetings. So that's been good so far.
Spencer Rattler's a big golfer.
Okay.
So maybe we can get you out there with him.
Yeah, maybe I got to hit the field, hit the greens with Spencer one time.
He's also not a
So-
bad basketball player either.
Okay.
Couple NIL,
yeah.
Okay.
Maybe get you with like TaylorMade or something like that. A couple NIL deals to get you out
Most
there.
definitely. There we go.
Get you a new driver or something like that.
There's actually a pretty fierce competition among football guys, baseball guys, as far as like who's the best
On golfing wise.
golfing wise.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I got it.
And there's supposedly
Yeah.
like Jack Mahoney
Jack's a really good golfer.
is really like could have gone to college and play. Are you that good? Could you have gone to like?
I wouldn't say I
college
could have
and
gone to
play golf?
college, but I was definitely competitive. Definitely in high school and middle school. Was a big golfer, much bigger than I am now. In terms of getting on the green and getting around the rounds and whatnot. But
Yeah.
no, I was big on it for sure.
All right, so back to the sports you actually do play, the most often, basketball. Who are some guys that you model your game after, or just some favorite players?
Man, I could be up here talking all day about guys I watch and kind of have modeled my game around. But definitely over the past couple of years, it's been a bit of a change. So now coming into my year at South Carolina, I kind of want to embody some different players. So in the past, I definitely say guys like Klay Thompson, watch a bunch of film on Duncan Robinson, Peja Stojakovic, just real catching stick shooters that can do it in different ways, off different footworks, coming off different screens, stuff like that. But now as I kind of come into a new chapter in my career, I want to, embody some different guys like, Jaylen Brown, two-way guards that are big, play really hard, solid defense, but can give you a bucket and make the right play as well. Like I said, been watching a lot of Jaylen Brown, and even Tyrese Maxey. Let's see.
The Peja one is interesting. I don't know if I've ever heard But man, he was
he was tough.
he
man.
was something.
He was really, really good. Even Steve Kerr, I watched a bunch of Steve Kerr playing on the Bulls with MJ. I'm a student of the game, so I've watched guys from the 70s and on up for sure.
You mentioned MJ. When we had BJ in here the other day,
Okay.
we asked him his take on the MJ LeBron debate.
Man.
Where do you fall?
I gotta say Kobe's my GOAT.
Okay.
Honestly.
Okay.
So
That's fair.
MJ's cool, LeBron's cool, but at the end of the day, the guy sitting at the top of my Mount Rushmore is Kobe Bean Bryant. No doubt about it.
Well, other than Kobe, you mentioned a lot. Like you mentioned 3-point shooters and defense. So you're like a 3 and is that what you feel like your like pro potential is, like that 3 and D type of player that you see nowadays?
Most certainly. Yeah, but I think at the next level, just getting my foot in the door, like rookie year kind of mindset. I think being a 3 and D, catch and stick guy that can take you off the dribble, make the right play, get 2 feet in the paint, and get a bucket for himself, for a teammate, and play really hard, solid defense is where I'm going to probably flourish and really embody my NBA role.
Now, something we were talking about earlier is just obviously being at Vandy the past few years, you played a lot of really good players across the country. Who are some of the toughest guys you've matched up against? Like guys, like even maybe during the game, you're like, man, that dude's nice.
Yeah, I say, okay, I got a couple guys for sure because the SEC has been really, really competitive throughout my last 3 years. So definitely my freshman year, I think a guy like Moses Moody was a bit of a challenge. I know he was a one and done at Arkansas and has been pretty successful with the Warriors as well. So shout out to my guy Moses for sure. It's been funny just being able to be friends with a lot of these guys as well off the court and kind of being able to joke about some of our on-court duels. So that's been fun. I say a guy like James Shackelford at Alabama too, Brandon Miller as well. This past year, he had a really, really good year as a freshman and is now probably going to get drafted either 1, 2, or 3. Let's see, man. It's a bunch of guys that I –
Brandon Miller, I mentioned that was the other game. I went to y'all's game against –
Bama game.
Or not y'all now.
Right.
Vanderbilt's game against Carolina. Vanderbilt against y'all. And then I went to the Bama game. I mean, Brandon Miller just single-handedly. Mm-hmm. What was he for, Colin? 40?
For like
I think
41 points.
41 points.
But
I think he set his career high that night.
He hit the game-tying shot to send it to overtime and then hit the game-winning shot with a couple seconds left.
The game-tying shot, he took 8 steps, though, I got to say.
And Hayden Brown. and Hayden Brown got called for a phantom fifth foul.
That was pretty bad.
Yeah. So,
what did you think about Gigi Jackson and his freshman year here at South Carolina?
No, I was going to say him next, actually. I thought he had a really good year. And I definitely, personally think he'll get drafted, higher into the first round as well. But he had a really, really good year. He showed a lot of things he can do really effectively and efficiently. Not only just being, like a main kind of key scorer kind of guy, but I thought he had some really good spurts where he played solid defense as well and showed some of his leading capabilities in terms of kind of riling the guys up and getting them behind him in games where he was doing really well. And just kind of, guarding him, like having that matchup against him a little bit. It was definitely fun competing with him and talking a little bit of stuff with him just because he's a pure competitor at heart, and you can see that within his game and how he approaches the game as well. So, shout out to my guy Gigi. He's doing his thing for sure.
Now, what's his trash talk like? Obviously, we don't get the mic'd up version of Gigi out there on the court.
Yeah, no doubt. I mean, he'll hit a shot and he'll, give you a tap on the butt going back on defense. Maybe say something into your ear that the coaches and the refs can't see. That I can't really say on air without getting you guys fined for. But
what about your trash talk game? What are you going? Now we saw the whiny face to the fans. I don't know if you do that to an actual player, but what do you have?
I mean, it really depends on kind of the vibe of the game. Truthfully, I don't go out and try to trash talk every single game. But if it's getting a little chippy and someone's been in my ear for a little bit, I might gotta let them hear me after I get a bucket or stop and let them know I'm here. I'm not going for any of that. But definitely just gotta have that dog in you. Especially playing at this level because it's kill or be killed out there.
All right, we'll wrap up the conversation on the Garnet Trust Hour with Myles Stute coming up next on 107.5 The Game.
It's the Garnet Trust Hour on your home of the Gamecocks. 107.5 The Game.
KJ Williams at LSU. He's one. Then Myles, he was good. Adam Miller at LSU.
Welcome back into the Garnet Trust Hour here on 107.5 The Game. Tyler, Chris, and Colin along with you, as well as Myles Stute, new addition to the Gamecock men's basketball team. That was a short clip of when we had BJ Mack in here the other day on Tuesday for the Garnet Trust Hour, and we asked him the question, who are some of the best players he went against in his time when he was at Wofford this past season, and he named you as one of those players. How does that feel?
It feels really good, man. I kind of got a little bit of bragging rights over BJ on that game just because we had beat Wofford. But, man, it feels really good to know that respect level is there because he was definitely one of the better players I played during my time at Vanderbilt as well. I want to say he gave us like 20 that game. He was killing us. So
he gave me a little bit. I was like, tell us a little bit about Myles' game, and he went into like scouting report mode.
Okay.
He like gave us basically what their scouting report was on you, but he did say, he's like, it did not go very well, especially at the beginning of the game. He said they settled in a little bit better. But no, so he gave his opinion on you. Tell us a little bit about what to expect from BJ.
Oh, man. I think there's still so much that he hasn't shown himself at this collegiate level that he's just shown throughout these past couple of weeks in the workouts and whatnot. So I'm feeling really, really highly about BJ and his game, his role on the team, because of the versatility that he provides, being a bigger player. I think he can really bang in the front court for us, but at the same time step out to the perimeter, hit some really tough and big shots, timely shots, and make crucial, plays and passes that most people might not be able to see or even think about. I think he's going to be a person that really, like I said, provides that versatility and allows us to attack teams in certain ways that they might not be able to recover from. Just because of that, like I keep harping on that versatility, that positionless kind of style of basketball that we're going to embody this year and allow everybody to just, play their game at the highest level in the flow of the offense. It's really, really exciting, the things that BJ's going to bring with his shooting, with his, like I said, just his big frame, his body, being able to bang down with those posts and bigger guys, and also being able to step out and hit some really, really tough shots. I'm excited about BJ for sure.
You were talking earlier about the workouts that y'all have, the open gyms you have going on right now, but walk the listeners through at this point in the season kind of what a typical day is for you.
No doubt. Random Thursday, Wednesday.
Yeah.
Like today, I can't even remember the days. I ain't gonna lie.
It's Thursday.
So we'll get up, have breakfast. Not necessarily as a team, but it's available for us in the facility. So a lot of the guys will go over around the same time and kind of eat together before we start our first workout for the day. And depending on what it is, it's either a lift or it's an encore workout over in the Coliseum or in CLA. And then after that lift or that encore workout, we'll either have, another workout, whether that be the lift that we didn't have or the encore workout that we didn't have. So those will get flipped. And if we don't have an encore workout, it'll be a team practice. Or an open gym kind of vibe where we can get up and play some pickup, run some fives, get up and down and play with each other. But following those two workouts that we'll have each day, we will have some time to ourselves for the rest of the day, most likely. So usually for myself, I'll get back in the gym after my nap or after a good meal and a little bit of rest. And I'll get some more shots up and work on certain parts of my game, or I'll get in the weight room and work on my body a little bit more. And then after that, I'll just rest and recover, maybe watch a little bit of YouTube or watch a movie, and get ready to do the same exact thing the next day.
We love talking about food here on the Garnet Trust Hour when you're not having to eat the super healthy stuff for workouts or in the season. And what's your go-to food?
Man, it's tough right now because I'm trying to lose a little bit of weight. But I say my go-to has really just, been Chipotle lately. Chicken, rice, and some veggies. Maybe a little bit of queso if I'm feeling good. That's really been my go-to of the past, really the past year, truthfully. I've really been a big Chipotle fan just because it's so quick and easy. So, yeah.
And you keep it pretty healthy most of the time. Try to.
Yeah, no doubt.
Is it a burrito or is it a bowl?
It's a bowl, 100%.
Okay, there you go.
Now,
with the tortilla on the side.
I was going to ask you, anything with the tortilla on the side where you get more?
That's a pro tip right there.
Yeah. So what goes in the bowl? Like You're not going crazy with it. What's the Chipotle bowl look like?
It's the same thing every time. I go chicken or double chicken, depending on how I'm feeling. No beans, brown rice. You got to get brown rice.
Brown rice is the pro move.
This is a key.
Yeah, brown rice is the pro move.
And then we're going to pick up the gallo, that medium salsa. Maybe a little bit of the spicy salsa as well if I'm feeling it, if I'm up for it that day. But if not, we'll just go with a little bit of queso on the side, and I'll drizzle a bit on top and shake it up and get it right. Sometimes I'll go with the salad dressing as well. That's another pro tip.
Oh, the vinaigrettes.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. That's a good move there.
No doubt.
A lot of good protein in that.
Yep.
Yeah.
For sure.
Gotta have it. All that working out that Myles did.
Absolutely.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
workouts.
Yeah, man.
Last thing for you, Myles, because we're about to run out of time, unfortunately, here on the Garnet Trust Hour. So you mentioned watching YouTube, watching movies. Is that kind of, when you're not playing ball, working out, doing school stuff, whatever, is that kind of just what you're doing?
Yeah.
Chilling,
Yeah, just
watching
chilling,
something?
Watching something usually. I'm trying to get back into production a little bit. I used to make beats a lot when I was in high school and a little bit more in middle school. So that's something that I'm having having a little bit of free time during this off season. I've kind of got back into production and beat making a little bit as well, and just kind of let my creativity flow a little bit. I actually have a T-shirt that was designed by my guys over at Crispy NYC that just dropped. So the link is in my Instagram bio for that. A nice little bit of self promo right quick. But yeah, we got a nice T-shirt and some more merchandise coming in that's in the works right now. So I'm definitely excited about that. But like I said, I'm a really creative person. Sometimes I'll paint a little bit, whatever the case may be. Just kind of trying to give myself some creative outlets other than basketball. Sometimes when I have some downtime, for sure.
Well, hey, let us know if you drop a mixtape.
Yeah, for sure. No doubt.
All right. Like Chris said, unfortunately, we are out of time. Myles, thanks so much for hanging out with us a little bit. Very excited to see what you can do in a Gamecock uniform this season.
Yes, sir. No, thanks for having me. I definitely enjoyed my time here on the show, so I appreciate you guys, and thank you all for tuning in.
If you missed any of this conversation, I'll have it up shortly on the 107.5 The Game podcasting page. Well, that'll do it for today's edition of the Garnet Trust Hour. Coming up next, Gamecock Central Takeover Hour, presented by Firehouse Subs on 107.5 The Game.